What is up, guys? I briefly wanted to do this video on putting my 2 cents in about the Wandavision TV series show. Um, First of all, I like the story so far. I think it's an awesome and amazing show. And I can't wait to see what surprises and who's going to show up at the season finale. Probably Doctor Strange. Everybody's saying Doctor Strange or Magneto. Um, but what I want to talk to you about in this video is my own fan theory, right? And it's just a theory or what I think would be cool to see in this series. So WandaVision, we know eventually that maybe if, but so by the time the show ends, okay, we know that by the time the show ends, that it's going to be somebody in the shadows controlling Scarlet Witch, right? Or Wanda, right? Which is cool, but like I kind of don't want it to be some like shadowy figure like Mephisto or Nightmare. I know in the comics, there's a comic run where I think one of them possesses Wanda, but just hear me out. I think it would be cool if, she is the villain, right? There's nobody pulling the strings, there's nobody manipulating it. She is the antagonist, right? Because if you think about it, she hasn't really had time to grieve. She lost Vision, she lost her brother, Wanda's lost everything basically, right? Her parents, her two mentors, right, in Black Widow and Captain America, who are sort of like brother and sister figures. They're no longer there, right? Hawkeye has his family business that he needs to take care of, or his own family that he needs to be there for. So essentially, she has nobody. She hasn't had time to grieve this properly, right? And what better way to show grief leading into insanity, right? Why I think it would be cool to have her be the villain and the antagonist is because you don't really see a lot of like movies where your hero, so to say, goes down the journey, right, and becomes the bad guy. What I'm saying is, in movies, right, and in stories in general, there's different types of arcs, right? So the specific arc that I'm talking about is the fall arc, where your main character, they start off with like good intentions, right? Good morals, good ethics, or what have you, or they're just like this upstanding person, him or her, right? Through the course of their story, they whether it be their environment, whether they be something they lost, or whatever, they begin a descent, right? Like you see your hero go from being good to losing their value, right? Or not losing their values, but like becoming essentially the villain, right? Like good examples of this is the Anakin becoming Darth Vader, right? That's an example of a fall arc, right? Another good example, a movie that I absolutely love is a Korean action drama called New World, right? In the story, there's this undercover cop who goes undercover to really take down this crime syndicate for 8 years. While he's undercover, he develops a bond with the crime boss, who he eventually rises up and becomes a crime boss. But they develop a bond where they become brothers, right? Within this 8 years, you kind of see him kind of question like his morality, right? Like he's a cop and he's supposed to uphold the law, but he's developed this deep bond for this guy, this brother who kind of understands him when nobody doesn't, right? So towards the end of the movie, long story short, the crime boss dies and the cop ends up taking over the crime syndicate. Now he could do two things. You know, he could bust the whole operation, or he could, you know, be the boss. And he chooses to be the boss, right? So within the story, what makes the movie so great is that you see the choices that, and the circumstances and the choices that led to him kind of going in that direction, if that makes sense, right? So, and that's what a fall arc is. Basically, it's a character who starts off like on the good path, but he or she winds up becoming the worst version of themselves, right? It's not usually a happy ending, right? And to me, I think that would be great because we haven't really seen like a Marvel superhero or a Marvel character yet who becomes a villain, or like at least a story arc that you see their progression through story, like, yeah, we have villains with great background stories, but I think, or what I'm trying to say is that I think that would be awesome to tell, right? Because like that's a very human thing, right? Because we sometimes as human beings, like some of us, we lose ourselves, right? Some of us are able to find our way back, and sometimes some of us need help, to find our way back. And sometimes there are people who don't find their way back at all, right? And I think that's a very human element of the story, right? Which I think would be awesome because it'll make the character more relatable. Now, like I said, the story is amazing. I love the series. I'm tuned in from episodes 1 through 5, and I think they're doing great. And again, this is just my opinion, you know what I'm saying, and what I think would be cool. Maybe it might not be cool for others, but I just want to throw that out there. You know what I'm saying? That it would be a awesome story if there's nobody controlling her, or there's nobody putting these things in her head to kidnap a whole town, or not kidnap a whole town. She didn't kidnap a whole town. Well, no, she didn't kidnap a whole town. She just built a dome over it. My people who read comics and stuff like that, we all know that, we see some House of M elements where they're doing it in reverse and they're going to bring in the X-Men mutants. So there's no spoilers in here. I'm not going to tell you what happened in the show. But, yeah, I think that would be a great story arc for Wanda, right? Because, like, again, we've seen her from Age of Ultron, you know what I'm saying? Where, she was this radicalized being, because you could understand that they both lost their parents, you know what I'm saying? And they hated really Tony Stark and the Avengers, you know what I'm saying? Through the course of movies, you kind of see her, trying to become this hero, or not trying to become this hero, but become a hero basically, right? And so, yeah, again, it'd be a pretty awesome thing to see, you know what I'm saying? She almost took Thanos out by herself. Food for thought there. So, I would like to see, or that would be interesting to see if, it'd be interesting to see if, not interesting, but it would be cool to see that story arc, you know what I'm saying, happen, you know what I'm saying? But again, you know what I'm saying, the show is great. This is just my opinion, my deal as a fan, and what I think would be awesome, would really be dope. But the series is dope itself. Again, I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to see what it leads into, you know what I'm saying? And I can't wait for the rest of the series, the Marvel series, to hit TV, because this is just the first series of many, you know what I'm saying? And it is good, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, just my thoughts, my opinion. Again, the fall arc, that would be pretty cool to see. Yeah, and I'm gonna end this video. Peace.